Welcome to Unlearning, where we go behind the curtain for an insider's perspective on the theater industry, break down the buzzworthy conversations on social media, and challenge the stigmas that hold us back. I'm Veronica Stern, and together, we're unlearning and redefining what it means to thrive in the business. Now, it's time to rewrite the script. Hello, wonderful people of the world, and welcome to the Unlearning Podcast. Today, we have Haley Dortch, who played Fantine on the national tour of Les Miserables. Haley is a gifted and just lovely, lovely performer, and we were actually on tour together, so we got to kind of talk about some fun tour stories, but most importantly, she tells us about how she got the role, how she was literally 20 years old when she got it and started the process when she was 19 years old, and kind of gives some insight about how that experience has shaped her so far. And I'm really, really excited for everybody to hear about it. Let's see, what's been going on this week? Oh, I went to a very fun concert last night. Seth Rudetsky hosted Adam Pascal and Anthony Rapp. If you know Rent, then you know who those people are. And it was just such a lovely evening. Hearing them sing When You're Dying in America, was honestly, I didn't know I needed that. So it was very, very exciting. And again, it's always fun to see these theater things and engage in all of these things that just remind you of why you like it in the first place. So I don't want to delay any further. Here is Haley Dortch, and I hope you enjoy our conversation. So we were talking about our nails, and I was saying that on tour, my nails were much longer because I wasn't that stressed out, except I would push it because I would get fake nails. And some of the guys would be kind of mean to me on stage.
Oh no.
Yeah. You wouldn't know because you weren't in the scene, but the I forget what it's called now.
Well, I've seen the show now, so if you describe the show.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I went when they were in Hartford. It was 4 weeks after I left. I went to go see it.
How was that experience?
Crazy.
Was that your first time seeing it?
So I saw the tour back in, I want to say 2017.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And then it was crazy because I had already planned to go back and see it in Hartford.
Yeah.
But I thought 4 weeks would be a lot of time,
That's only a month.
That was not a lot of time.
That's not any time at all.
It was crazy because it felt like a lifetime had passed, obviously.
Was there a lot of new cast members in it at that point?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, all that changeover that happened when, I think it was, how many of us left? 6 of us or something? 7, 10?
Yeah. So it was truly the end of year 2.
Yeah.
And then you saw the new crop of people.
Yeah. It was wild.
What was it like sitting in the audience, knowing that you weren't going to be performing the next day?
That was awesome. Let me tell you.
You like that?
Yeah. I mean, it's so nice to just sit and relax and just be like, ha 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 ha. I don't have to worry about anything. But it was so good. And I just was joyous. I felt watching it because I've never really gotten to see what the finished product of it is, because it's different when I saw the tour in 2017. And of course it was the same people that we toured with for the most part, but for me, I didn't have a personal connection with the people on stage, and I feel like this is the first time. I've had friends in shows before on Broadway and on tours that I've gone to see, but to see the show I was in and
to know the moments that are happening, and especially with Les Mis, everybody's in the background, in the dark, and you're I know they're cutting it up back there.
Let me tell you,
the potato corner. Potato corner.
No, definitely. There was some, I feel, moments that I really clocked that I was I know exactly what's going on there.
I had never seen Les Mis before. I think I saw the movie when I knew I was auditioning for it, but you said that you saw Les Mis in 2017.
Right.
So then when the pandemic happened and it came back around, you were a sophomore in college?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about what happened, because I read that you auditioned for Eponine, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then you became Fantine. Like, what went on? I know you didn't have an agent. Like, tell me everything that happened.
It's so crazy. I was just having this conversation last night.
Oh, really?
Of just like how insane, truly. I didn't understand the stakes of what I was doing. And so it was kind of just fun time for me of, oh, it'd be so slay if I booked a national tour, LOL. And now here I am at 23, like, that's crazy. That is so wild. But I was 19 and I was in college, and I was, as you do, looking online for summer stock auditions.
Okay.
And going through Playbill, like, okay, what can I submit for? This place is doing this, and I can submit a tape for that. And Les Mis was having an open call for equity actors, which I twas not. And, kind of raised on the mentality of the worst thing that they can do is say no.
Yeah.
And so I was in a basement, and in a college basement of a very old house with lots of cobwebs above me. I think it added to the atmosphere, if anything. Like, I was just giving them setting. I was wearing a sweatshirt.
Really?
Yes, a sweatshirt. I would need to show you the tape after this, because
I need to see this.
Quite ridiculous. I forgot to film a slate too, so I just have my phone in selfie mode, and I'm like, "Hi, my name is Haley Dortch,"
and then you just like went for it.
And and I had just sang on my own, and then I wasn't even thinking about it, because like, you just send in tapes and hope something sticks, but I never fathomed that anything would stick. And I got an email a couple of weeks later that they wanted me for a callback for Eponine. And I came in and sang through the packet. They gave me some notes, and I sang through it again, and I'll never forget.
Was this just with the casting director at this point, or was it also with the Jim and stuff?
Yeah, this is with Jim Moore and Corey Agnew.
Really?
Yeah, like it was like a full-on callback situation.
Okay.
Yeah. And Jim Moore, after I sang through the Eponine stuff for a second time, just goes, "You look like Fantine today. Do you know I dreamed a dream?"
What?
Yeah, I was like, I go back and look at my outfit, and I'm like, what?
Did you know it?
I knew I dreamed a dream. Okay. I said, okay, forgive me if I mess up the words.
That's actually like the best scenario.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're springing it on you, and like all you can do is your best.
Yeah,
like,
truly.
Sometimes I wish it could just be like that,
No, it worked out. Like, I knew the song. There's a video of me that my mom sent me on my camcorder. So I didn't make it to the talent show singing I Dreamed a Dream. So mad. But I sang it for the Thespian Festival in 8th grade or something. Ooh. So I knew the song.
Yeah, of course.
Because I watched the movie, and I really liked the music when it came out. I think I was in 6th grade when it came out. And so I sang it, and I went, oh, okay. Can you sing through the rest of the packet? Do you know the other stuff? No.
What's in the rest of the Fantine packet?
It was the easy money lying on a bed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that whole part. And then
like the end?
I think the you let your woman set
Oh,
me away. Yeah.
Wait, I have chills. I like you saying that just now, and I was like, I'm back.
No, literally.
I'm back to the cart. I'm back. It's so crazy. Like,
no, it's so wild, and I didn't know that part.
Okay.
Because I didn't, like we were talking about earlier, I didn't really know the musical that well.
And that's like a deep cut if you know that.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah.
It's everybody loves that Skrelt moment of Fantine's, but I literally went over the piano. He taught me
in the room.
With them
sitting right there.
With them sitting, I was like, "Let's go over the notes." And I pick up on music very quickly. I've been studying music for a very long time, so I was like, "Okay, I can do this." And I sang through it, and they were like, "Okay, bye." Okay.
That's
cool.
a wild experience. Like, you're 19 years old, you go in for one thing, like the youthful role, whatever, youthful, right. And then they're like, actually, can you sing for Fantine, like this notorious, like, well, it's funny
mother.
because like before I knew Les Mis, I've always known Fantine to be this like maternal older woman. And then once I saw your Fantine, I was like, oh, well, no, like it makes sense that she's young and like youthful, but you also have such like an older aura about you.
Definitely, yeah.
So it totally makes sense to me that they would have saw that in the room. But okay, right. So you leave, you're like, thanks. Like, were you in New York?
Yeah, I was in New York.
Okay. Did you like fly back to Michigan the next day or what?
Yeah, literally. So I always make it a tradition to go and get ice cream after every single audition that I do.
That's fun.
It's very important to me. It's like a must. So I went and got ice cream and texted my professor, and then got on a flight to go back to Michigan. I went back to Michigan. About 2 weeks later, they told me I was in finals. For Fontaine.
For Fontaine.
Right. Like, I didn't have another callback for Fontaine. It was just straight to finals.
Were you just like, was it a call or was it an email? An email.
Email.
When you, and they were emailing you directly, right? At this point, because you also didn't have
an agent or a manager or anybody representing me. So I was in direct communication with casting.
So when you saw that email come through, were you just like, what is happening right now? Like, you took this chance and now like you have this opportunity like brewing. Like, was it overwhelming?
No.
Because you just didn't know what to expect.
I didn't know what to expect.
Oh my God.
Truly.
This is so similar to what happened to me with Anastasia. I just like didn't know anything. And I think that's like sometimes the best place to be.
Agreed.
Because then you just go through everything so fearlessly.
Truly.
They were like, you're gonna have your final callback. Now, was this one for Cameron?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, so I had a work session, and then if I got invited to the final callback from the work session, I could go to that.
Okay.
But they were back to back, so it was like the first day I went in for Corey. And I remember I finished going through the packet. He gave me some notes, and he was like, now if you were to do it for the final, okay, I'm just going to say, you're going to be at the final callback. And I was like, yes, nice.
Yeah.
And so I did well, I guess, and I was feeling good about it. And the next day, came in, and just another important key factor here. I don't really know much. And I know a lot more now, but back in the day, I didn't know much about theater, how it worked, who was who, and how important they were. So I knew Cameron Mackintosh was a big name. I had to Google him the night before and be like, what does he look like? I don't know.
No, this is the exact same thing that happened to me because I also had to sing for him. And I also was like, Cameron Mackintosh, yeah. I know that name.
Yeah, of course.
But also, like, what does a producer do in an audition? Like, totally, I'm totally aligned. Okay, so you looked him up.
I looked him up, and I was like, which one is that one?
At least, like which one is he going to be?
Right, and then so Lawrence Connor was also going to be there, and I was like, I know that name, but I don't know what he looks like. And, like, just that mentality. I miss so much of being so naive to the big picture of everything. And so after my Eponine callback that turned into a Fontaine audition, I felt really good, and I was like, I bet I'll get a callback from this. Like, I'm not a very cocky person. I try and just be like, it's gonna be what it's gonna be, and everything's meant to be. But after that audition, I was like, yeah, that felt good. I'm probably gonna get a callback. I felt really good about it. My final audition, I didn't know what to expect, because
at this point, it's like your third or fourth time singing this stuff for the exact same people. And at this point in the process, you have the people in the room that have been making the decisions thus far want you there. So it's up to this other like factor, which is like these producers that, and you don't necessarily get feedback. So it's kind of just like, I know that somebody's rooting for me in this room, so what am I really like? I just have to come in and do the thing that I have been doing.
And I felt like I had Spencer, who's a Tara Rubin casting. I'm sure he was in your audition room as well. He was so supportive of me. I think he understood the position I was in. And
because you're 19 years old.
Yeah, I felt so. Well, at that point, I just had turned 20, so I was 20 now.
Okay.
But I felt like I really had him rooting me on, which is so nice. And I went in. Well, it was crazy because Genevieve was there, who was also, she's my understudy, and she was there for the finals, and it was also Alyssa Fox.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's like Broadway
Elphaba, Broadway Elsa, like slay. So it was me, Genevieve, and Alyssa Fox in the finals.
Yeah.
Genevieve went first, and I was like, oh gosh, she's good. Alyssa went, and then I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, you could hear them?
Yeah, because we were like all lined up there in the hallway. Okay. Well, they had a holding room where, funnily enough, Nick Cartel was there.
Really?
Yeah, Randy Jeter was there, and Preston Truman Boyd. And I remember just sitting there thinking how annoying Preston was. And we talked about this because he was just sitting there. You know how Preston is. Like, he can't sit still. Well, and we were having a conversation, and I was like, this guy's cool. I like him. But he was just like, yeah. Like,
he was wearing up? Yes. Oh, my God.
You know how he is. He's just so fidgety.
That's
I was like,
so wild.
Is he okay?
Wait, so did you have to, does Fontaine audition with any of the other people? Like,
nope.
Oh, so it's just you?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, everybody else did the full packet. So the full packet for Fontaine was I Dreamed a Dream, the Easy Money Lying on a Bed.
Yeah.
And then doing the
yeah.
And then the death scene.
Ooh.
Right. And so
that's like everything.
Yeah, truly.
That's so funny.
The whole track. And so I went in, and everybody had done the full packet. I went in, I sang I Dreamed a Dream. Everybody did I Dreamed a Dream twice. I only did it once. And then I went straight to the death scene. I didn't do anything else. They had me do the death scene, gave me notes. They had me pull up a chair and lay on the ground.
No.
And Jim Moore was singing Valjean to me. I know, it's sweet.
I love the way he sings in auditions because he's so matter of fact.
Yeah,
and
truly.
I'm just like, okay, thank you, actually. I actually really appreciate that.
And then I finished. I got off the floor, like, single tear. It was one of those single tear moments. Tell Cassette I love her, and I'll see her when I wake.
Dead.
And I got up, and they said, thank you.
That was it?
That was it.
And you just walked out?
Yeah, I just walked out. And I remember my parents got so mad at me because, you know, they try and be so supportive. How'd it go? And I was just like, it went okay. I think it was fine. And they're like, well, tell us everything, you know? Like, they're so... Yeah. And for me personally, I'm just, like, frustrated because I don't even know. I'm like...
Right. And you've also heard through the door what other people have done, and it wasn't what you did. So now you're overthinking and thinking, like, well, I mean, like, I didn't sing the full packet, so that must mean that I didn't get it.
Right.
Like,
I'm like, they're not interested. They didn't need to see anything else.
Right.
And so I was like, I felt like I did good, but who knows if I did good?
Right.
And I feel like I just don't know.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to be like,
yeah.
And so we really butted heads afterwards. And, you know, a couple weeks later, I was sitting in TAP class. We were doing presentations.
So now you're back at Michigan. After you've had this, like, insane audition experience, like, fully up against Broadway, like, Broadway people, and fully, like, singing for Cameron McIntosh, and then you're just, like, right back in, like, TAP class. That's iconic.
Right back in TAP class, and everybody's doing presentations, and my phone starts ringing. I look at my phone, and it says, maybe Spencer from Tara's office. Yeah. Because you know how Apple has that feature.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta take this. So I run into the hallway. I didn't even tell my teacher, like, anything. I just, like, left. And I went into the hallway, and Spencer, you know, told me I booked it. He's like, I wanted to be the one to tell you personally that you booked Fontaine. You are Fontaine.
Oh, my God.
That was my exact reaction, actually.
I mean, so when that happened to you, did everything just, like, flash before your eyes? Like, what am I going to do about school? Like, am I leaving? Is this a decision that I'm going to have to think about? Or is this a decision that it's just like, no, yeah, I'm doing this? Or, like, what was, like, going through your mind when that happened?
I was party rocking.
You were just like, let's go.
I wasn't worried about anything. I mean...
Did you know what touring was?
Vaguely.
Okay, because I didn't.
Yeah.
The first time I went on tour. I didn't know anything. Like, I didn't know what it was going to be like. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what the travel meant. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
The only thing I knew was, okay, I'm going to get a script and I have to do the job. Like,
yeah.
You know? But what was your, like, what was a fear that ran through your brain?
I was so fearless at that time of my life.
Really? Yeah,
I really was.
I get it. Like, honestly, it's just the feeling of, like, dang, I got the thing and, like, let's just go.
Yeah.
So.
How dumb of me.
Okay, like, let's get into that then. Why? Why do you say that?
I think I just truly was, because ever since high school, truly, ever since I went to the Jimmy Awards my junior year of high school. I didn't really start doing theater until high school.
Wait, you went to the Jimmys?
I did, my junior year.
Oh.
And I would have gone my senior year, but there was COVID.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So you went to the Jimmys?
I went to the Jimmys, and that was kind of my first taste of, I guess, professional level theater.
Wait, for what role? I'm sorry.
Dolores Van Cartier in Sister Act.
Oh my God, I need to see that.
Oh, girl.
Wait.
The video online of me doing it is so... I hate watching it because I was so nervous. So my vibrato was like, ah!
Is it like Haley Dortch, Dolores, and like you strike a pose?
Yes. I had my purple boots on in my nun outfit, and I like hit a hip with the purple boots. But I was also in the same medley as Elise Bell. Yep.
Famously.
Yeah,
Why'd you
famously.
come in here looking like that with your high heels, boots, and your giant jeans? Yeah, anyways.
My dad called me yesterday, and he was like, Elise Bell's video is so good. I was like,
so good. No, I need her on the podcast.
yeah. I could text her.
Anyways.
She's great. Nicest person ever.
She seems nice.
She's very nice. Love
That
her.
video is insane.
Yeah. Insane. She's insane. Truly.
Okay, back to you though. Sorry.
But yeah, so I was in the shadow of Elise Bell.
Wait, are you guys the same age?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, that's wild.
We're the same age. But she was so good. I feel like the Jimmys was my first taste of crazy competitive theaterness and hate comments. Definitely.
Did you get hate comments?
Yeah.
Really?
The Jimmys is so intense, and people feel very strongly about the Jimmys. And so there was actually 2 Doloreses in my medley. And so there were comments like, when the first Dolores started singing, I felt bad for the second one. Or when the second Dolores started singing, I felt bad for the first one. I was the first one.
Oh no! I need to see, like, I want to like make a fake account and comment be like, does anybody know that the first Dolores is actually Fontaine now?
There are comments like that now,
are
too.
there?
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Period.
So it's just so silly to go look back at. But, yeah.
But so do you felt like that prepared you in a way for what was to come? Or?
In a way,
Okay.
yes. But ever since that moment, that's when I got my first ever self-tape request, and it was for the role of Frankie in Jagged Little Pill.
Oh yeah, you would kill that. Do you think? Or
maybe,
no?
Maybe back when I was 17, sure.
Oh sure,
But-
sure.
Yeah. But I feel like that was when I started to realize, oh, I want a book right now.
Oh,
Right now.
why did you just feel like this? Like you were just like, I have the things I need now. I like need to just like experience like what it's going to be like.
I think so. I think I was just kind of like, I want to do this. I want to be out there. And I've experienced, the Jimmys. I need to go and do the next step, which is Broadway.
Right.
Just booking.
So when you started Les Mis, you're 20 years old and you're stepping into the shoes of like Fontaine's past, like Patti LuPone and just like like powerhouses. How did you deal with the legacy of what Fontaine is?
I didn't. So this is where it started to get tricky. Because I came in with I wasn't arrogant in any way, I don't think. I've always tried to really be a humble person, but I think I just was very naive to what that legacy was and how grand this entire thing was. And truly, like, how big of a deal it was that I booked this at my age that I did. I did not understand that. And I just remember coming in for rehearsals. Of course I was nervous, but I just still wasn't as nervous as I think I should have been. And, going through rehearsals is still fun, but I think I slowly started to understand the pressures of the situation. And I remember just sitting there with Corey, and we were blocking I Dreamed a Dream for probably the 4th day in a row. And I just started crying. I was like, can I take a break? I really need to take a break right now. And like, it breaks my heart for that little girl because she just is so dumb. Not dumb. She was just fragile and didn't understand how to properly equip herself to be in that position at that time in my life.
But I think also, like, what 20-year-old would be able to? Like,
right.
You are stepping into... Okay, first of all, it's almost like you're a replacement for the role. Because in a lot of ways... No, not in a lot of ways. Les Mis is a show that does not change. Like, the same thing and the same blocking that it was
Truly
20 years ago is the same thing that it is now. Sure. Do small things change? Of course. But, like, it is truly like, and now you're going to move to this side of the stage, and now you're going to move to this side of the stage.
Yep.
Oh, not that much. And it's like,
very
that's what it
cookie cutter,
is.
like, we do this for a reason.
Yes.
Do it this way.
And so, in a lot of ways... Yes, you are opening up this new tour, but this tour has been on the road for years now at this point, and, you know, it was reopening because of the pandemic and whatnot. So I think that, you know, in a lot of ways, it was almost like you were replacing a replacement. You weren't, but that mentality that you're talking about, which was like the feeling that like all the other Fontaines before you are like a ghost almost. Like, I totally relate to that. And I totally had the same exact breakdown moment when I was like rehearsing for Anastasia, and I was like doing a scene with the woman that played the Dowager, and the director was like, by the way, you know, you don't have to like try to be the person that came before you, right? And I was like, and I just like started breaking down. She's like, I'm so sorry if like if you thought, and I was like, no, it's just like a lot of pressure because, you know, especially with Les Mis, like everybody knows what it sounds like, what it looks like. So I can't even imagine how you must have felt going into it and being like, I don't sound like Patti LuPone, and you're your own person. So once you had that moment, what happened after that? Did you feel like you had a little bit more space to like be your own person in the role?
I think in a way, yes. I think it took a couple of months to realize that I have such a different lived experience than anybody else who has ever done the role, ever. And so therefore, that is what makes my Fantine unique, just because of who I am. And bringing that authenticity and myself to the role is what makes it different, not because I'm trying to mimic exactly what Patti LuPone did, or, you know, Erika Henningsen, or, you know, the incredible list of people who have done the role.
It's funny too, though, because like those two people are so different to me.
Yeah.
So like it's also like I feel like with Cosette, like every Cosette is kind of the same. Like you know, they're all the same. Like because there's not much to do with that role. No offense to Cosette, she just is like there, as being one of the people that did it for a little bit. Anyways. With Fantine, you're totally right. Your lived experience totally changes everything. And I'm wondering, like, going into, like, her headspace every night, that must have been really hard, too.
Yeah, I didn't understand the difference between being the actor and being the character.
Oh, my gosh.
I really didn't.
That's really heavy.
Yeah, especially, like, with a role like Fantine. Like, I just was taking so much of it home with me. I was taking the pressure of what the situation was, and also the just sadness of the show in general. And I was putting so much pressure on myself because I'm like, okay, wait, I thought I was done proving myself when I booked the role, but now I'm having to prove myself 8 times a week. And I'm having to, I feel like there was an extra layer of it as well, being a woman of color, because I, you know, was seeing things at my young age of like, oh, Les Mis is filling their diversity quota. An actual thing somebody wrote in a review. A real reviewer wrote that in a show about our show.
Really?
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, I'm continuously having to prove myself over and over again. And I didn't want the excuse of, oh, she's only 20, so she's not going to be that good. I didn't want that. And so I was just in overdrive. My mind was constantly in overdrive, and I was just so anxious all of the time and having panic attacks like all of the time. I would have a panic attack and I dreamed a dream because I would be singing the song and I would just disassociate accidentally, and I was like, I just sang all of the wrong words. And I would start to panic on stage, and it would just spiral and spiral and spiral of like, do I know the words? Do I know the words? Am I going to mess this up? I can't mess this up. There's too much like writing on this. I can't ruin this right now. And it destroyed me mentally for so many months. And that was really hard. I feel so bad for my 20/21-year-old self that was going through all of that. But in a way, I'm so glad I did go through it because now I feel like there is very little that I can face that I wouldn't be able to handle, which is really awesome to feel.
It's so... This is going to be a weird word. It's so validating to hear you say all of that because I was having the exact same experience during Anastasia. And like...
Validating's not a weird word at all,
being like... Nobody else understands what I'm going through right now, and like reaching out to producers and being like, I'm really struggling right now, and they'll be like, do you want to talk to somebody? I'm like, is anybody else like going through this? And like, it's just weird that like as performers we don't talk about it more. But I know that you are trying to with Broadway Balance. Can you tell us like a little bit about that and like how that came to be?
Well, that came to be because of this whole experience that I went through, because I, like you said, felt extremely alone. And I would just be sitting there like researching other examples of like, have people experienced this? How do I get out of this? I mean, there was a point on tour where I was seeing 3 therapists at once.
Oh my God,
I was just trying to, and scrambling just for somebody to tell me I was sane.
Right.
And I was just trying to find resources and trying to feel like there were other people out there feeling the same things as me. And also just, how do I make it better? Does it get better? Because I felt really hopeless. And so once I did come out of the other side of that, I just decided to make that resource for people. And so and even in creating these resources and talking to other actors, it's been really wonderful because I feel like I'm even more now gaining more perspective. Even though I'm definitely a lot more stable than I was back then before I created the account, I just still am gaining more perspective and feeling a little less alone. And I hope through this journey to create space, discussion, and to normalize mental health issues instead of having a stigma around it of like, that has to be suppressed and we can't handle it kind of thing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I feel that it's like chilling to hear because, only some people can understand what it feels like to get an opportunity so young.
Yeah.
And especially an opportunity where it's like, you have to like, hey, lead this show. You're extremely talented, but we're not going to tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Like, this is crazy. And feeling like, oh my God, am I not good enough because I don't know how to handle this? And then like on top of it all, like you're having panic attacks and like all of this stuff. And like, at least the first time I had a panic attack, I literally thought I was dying.
Yeah.
And, in Anastasia, there's no like breaks. Like, at least like, I can imagine you were having those panic attacks, but then at least you could say to yourself, like, all right, now like I can chill.
I was just like,
bit.
Okay, I just got to make it through 30 minutes.
Oh my God.
And then I can go color and chill the frick out. Yeah.
But with Anastasia, like I would be having these panic attacks and I'd be like, fuck, I have to
That's
make it
crazy.
I have to make it 90 more minutes. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. And like not knowing, and you're right, like looking it up, being like, theater performers
Am
who
I crazy?
have panic attacks. I can't breathe while I sing.
Yeah,
It's
literally.
not my diaphragm. Like, there's no resources. So I'm so happy that you're doing that because I think it's up to I hate sounding like, I feel like so like it's up to us. But like,
but it is.
It is like our generation is willing to talk about these things and be like, hey, I played Fantine on the national tour of Les Mis and it's amazing and it was so cool and I went to all these amazing places, but I struggled.
Yeah.
And like,
incredibly.
it was not easy. And like, here's why it wasn't easy. And here's how how I coped with that. And like, I hope that the next person that does this can understand that.
Right.
Because there's no reason why 20-somethings shouldn't have these opportunities, but we need the resources to know how to deal with them. And it's not just life. And like, oh, well, you know.
We'll get through it.
Yeah, we'll get through it because then we have like problems later on.
Because then I wasn't getting through it. I was losing it. But definitely.
Oh, well, I mean, I want to talk for like so much longer, but I want to keep the episode short.
Yeah.
I ask every guest a question. So are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous, but
don't worry. Okay. Haley, what does success look like to you now that you've been in the industry for a while? And how has that changed maybe from before you got that call to play Fantine?
I thought you were about to ask me like what my favorite color was or something.
Well, we can ask that after.
Wow, what a deeply profound question. You know, even as I sit here now, having left Les Mis, success looks very different to me because now I'm back in audition mode and I can't sit here and base my worth on whether or not I book a job. And I think that's what a lot of people expect success to be is booking and continuing to work. But I can't claim that as my success right now because I think what is successful to me are the little goals and, you know, making sure that I am perfecting my craft to where I want it to be. Like I find success in gaining strength. And, you know, if I'm able to do a new ab workout so that I can, you know, be able to sing some crazy songs because you need the core strength for it, then I'm like, heck yeah, that I'm successful in that. And I'm successful in my consistency in practicing every day. Obviously, I haven't lately because I was sick, but, you know, #flu. But I find that if I am staying consistent and dedicated, I think that's me being successful because that's really hard to do. It's really hard to stay motivated, especially when you're not working. And, you know, when I was on tour, I found success in doing my job 8 times a week and not just, there it is. Because I hate that. I hate that more than anything. I can never.
And it's easy to do with a show like Les Mis.
Definitely.
Really is.
And don't get me wrong, there were some days where it was like that. And I hated it, but it had to be what it had to be that day. 100% looks different every day. But my success on tour was making sure that I told the story, you know, and I'm a person that's always giving 100%. Like I sometimes to a fault because I need to chill out. But yeah, I think in different phases of my life, success has looked different. Right now, it's just about, am I successful in my dedication? And does that make sense? Am I making sense?
It makes so much sense. And I hope that when people listen to this, they can find some like inspiration in that and just like also understanding that, you know, success doesn't necessarily mean leading a show 8 times a week because at a certain point that will be done. And it's like, once that's done, you have to understand like how to find that in other ways in your life. And I think it totally makes sense. And I was going to share a quick anecdote that I had the profound honor of standing in the tower while you sang I Dreamed a Dream every night. And I would watch you every single night in the darkness. And I'd be like, God damn, this girl is singing this damn song. And it's always consistent. It's always good. And you know, if I knew something was going on with you, like you know, that shows your dedication. Like you just went out there and you did it. And I could see how you were putting yourself into the role, which I think is something that not a lot of people do that often. And you can tell when somebody's just going through the motions. And I never saw that when I was like standing in my little like corner. And it was always so fun to watch. And you have such a long career ahead of you, and I'm just so happy I get to watch.
Thank you.
And for my last question,
yes,
Haley, what is your favorite color?
I really like purple.
There you have it, folks. There you have it.
It's really important.
Everybody, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
You can find me at Haley Dortch, HALEYDORTCH. And from that profile, you can also go to the profile that's tagged in my bio and find Broadway Balance.
Oh, I can't wait to see what you do with that, too. That's very exciting.
Yeah, I know. We're trying to make plans, but...
Everything takes time.
Everything
Good
takes time.
Good things take time.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Exactly. Haley, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed that, please be sure to like and subscribe, rate and review, and be sure to follow me on social media at Veronica Stern on Instagram and at That Mixed Chick NYC on TikTok. And we will see you next time. Bye. That was so good. Oh my God, Haley, thank you.
Thanks for letting me yab with you.
I appreciate it.